NESCardinality. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to escape the starting zone anytime soon, although they do have 8 MP, which kind of infers they might get a spell, so we'll see what they start out with.
Well, certainly, we've got some big bucks all around here. A couple of bucks chests, and then the obligatory magic key. And I believe they had the return spell as well.
Alright, so with money and a key, they can hang on to that and pick up many more, and maybe check out the basement too. Alright, a little bit of a divergence here. NESCard is going to check the treasury out, while MisterHomes is going to check the basement out.
And we see the basement is the Rainbow Drop Cave. We've got in the treasury, we've got an herb, we've got a magic key, we've got a torch, and another herb.
So no gold grind today. The magic key, certainly nice to find to kind of refund that one you just used, but not really anything worth diving for back into the treasury again, so time to, I don't know, maybe take a peek, see if you can find a town in that grassland area somewhere.
Yeah, try to spend that roughly 500 to 700 gold that you have left. And we've got a cave on NESCardinality's side and a blue dragon.
Oof.
Ouch.
Yeah, that one's not so good, and MisterHomes gets rolled by a Druin with baby breath, so there goes half that gold. Doesn't look like there's any way they're going to be able to spend that in the surrounding area, so maybe just chip away at level 2 and level 3, see where you go.
Or at least try to do what you can, absolutely. Card working on a little grind zone just across the bridge here, and Holmes opting to go a little north of it. And I'm running into a Drakema that just whacks him down.
Yeah, with 9 strength, you're not going to be fighting too much other than the starting area enemies, so you just have to make the best of it. And hope you find some slimes, some drakies.
Yeah, really the only enemies that they'll be able to take down with any semblance of consistency early on with such low strength. Now, what our runners are looking to do here in Dragon Warrior, they're looking to find and defeat the evil Dragon Lord, and they'll be needing to collect certain key items along the way to trade in for the Rainbow Drop, which will allow them to enter Charlotte Castle, home of the Dragon Lord. And they'll also be, as you can see, fighting enemies one at a time to gain experience and levels to get stronger, as well as weapons, armor, and items that can be purchased with gold to help in their quest. And Drakey taking out NESCardinality. As Holmes getting some exploration in.
Yeah, finds a nice patch of grassland, gets a nice run. Still hasn't found much, and this wizard is probably going to send him home.
And there it is.
Holmes is just gonna go over the bridge and take advantage of that extra encounter rate in the forest, but not really looking forward to a scorpion or a skeleton, so still trying to find that monster that they can actually punch.
It seems to be rather evasive.
Yeah, it's like the start of a Chaos Seed. You just gotta find the noodle.
Chaos is a whole nother realm. That's that is for sure. We'll get more into that in a little bit. Here as Holmes taking out a slime that seeming to be one of the that is the easy item here. As Scorpion, not as much, and that is going to be the third death for Card here.
And Mr. Holmes is going to draw equal on experience with that blue slime, and really this is about the best that you can do in the beginning here, and hopefully they get some decent strength. We're about to find out.
As Mr. Holmes, the first to gain a level here, so we'll see if those stats can go up at a decent amount. 13, 8, 3, and 2, plus a new spell of Radiant. That'll help with the caves.
That'll help a lot, and maybe Mr. Holmes is going to try to take out a Magidrakey too, and see he moves up a little bit.
He's going to give the Scorpion a go, but I don't know if he's going to quite have the... Oh, he's got the herbs to be able to hang on to here.
Yeah, you can always go back and get more of those out of the treasury too. So, no problem in using those, and there's level 3.
We have another 17 power, 10 speed, 10 hit points, and 2 magic points. A very robust level 3.
So the exact opposite of an MTI level, and that's going to open up the map quite a bit for the runners. Mr. Holmes just going to take the Death Warp and go back, but really any of these enemies you should have no trouble fighting now. And now Mr. Holmes at level 4, and we'll get to see what he's got. Another spell, and he has Sleep, so that opens up even more options.
You can take on some enemies that might be a little bit tougher than you, and just go ahead and let them nap their way to death, pretty much. And with the 39 attack power, I mean, certainly a lot of options as far as enemies to take out. Probably can two-shot some Drakeemas, you know, maybe take 3 hits to take out a skeleton or a warlock. Meanwhile, Card finding out those enemies, I guess he's trying to find something in that intermediary zone that might be a slime or something of that nature.
NESCard's going to go after the Magician, and if he pulls this off, that'll do it. I think he's got an herb from the treasury too, but it looks like just a little too evasive with the levels that he has right now.
Meanwhile, here is level 5, 7, 8, 0, and 12 for Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, and it looks like Mr. Holmes is just content to pick up some of these easy beginning levels now that he has the strength to take out the early to mid-game monsters that you normally run into.
Just kind of punching them out. Well, he puts the skeleton to sleep there, using the last of his herbs. Is going to try one more here to get the skeleton, looking for a total of 165 experience to get to level 6. Oh, and there's a Drakey. That'd be a nice enemy for Card to find in that particular area. They're both grinding on the same spots, essentially, but you can see the strength differential. Only 9 for Card at level 1 versus 46 at Mr. Holmes at level 5. And taking out the magician, there is level 2 for Card.
Yeah, and I have no doubt that Card is going to get off to a pretty quick start too, but it's going to be probably about a 5-minute lead on exploration for Mr. Holmes, so we'll see what he ends up, he's able to leverage that into a larger lead.
And there is level 6, 1, 5, 2, and 10, the statistics on that. And now here's Card jumping up in levels. There's level 3 with those big stack gains.
Yeah, and it seems like Holmes is just content to look for those skeletons and those scorpions. Not really finding them right now.
I think he's trying to find enemies that'll get him to a decent point, hoping that maybe there's a healing spell at level 7, but oh, a knight, not so much.
Good to keep in mind for later, but right now, just no armor, no HP, no real way to take that monster out. He's gonna top off his herbs, though.
Yeah, with a couple of them in there, certainly not a bad thing. And Card able to take out the skeleton. Does he have enough to get one more here? But there is the level. 7, 8, 0, and 12, so that will be level 5 for Card.
Mr. Holmes, meanwhile, runs into a wolf, and I was gonna say that's a good enemy to use sleep on, but the wolf got the drop on him and used it first.
So that creating an alternate path. And we have Garanham with an herb. We've got some big bucks and some more big bucks.
So whatever is in the item shop, unless it's kind of the top tier weapons or armor, you can pretty easily get. And Mr. Holmes finds, I believe, Swamp North.
And he's going to take the almost 1,500 gold and do a little shopping, and not finding much to his liking. At least not at first. Gonna opt for the large shield and maybe the leather armor? No, gonna pass on the armor.
Gotta see what his other options are. There's a shopping mall right next door.
Oh, look at that. The town of Cantlin.
Yeah.
Pretty much not much there in terms of weapons. The bamboo pole and the flame sword.
Big ticket item, though, is we could have some early coordinates. So we'll see how that goes. Mr. Holmes picks up large shield and hand axe. Hand axe, one of the most economical weapons with respect to how much it costs and how much damage it deals.
And Holmes now able to take out a Spectre, which is a nice mid-level enemy to go for, getting a nice 47 experience on that. Opting to pass on the Goldman, though.
Ooh.
Oh! The Warlock with Hurtmore. Sends Mr. Holmes back at the cost of half the gold. Thankfully, most of it was spent on the aforementioned hand axe and large shield. As both of our runners now pretty well even in terms of experience, just actually for the brief moment there, even at 288, before Holmes taking the slight lead with the Poltergeist, both looking for 337 experience to get to level 7.
Yeah, and this desert does have some pretty good monsters for him to get there. And if you just look at experience-wise, NESCard is caught right up with Mr. Holmes, who just has a bit of a exploration lead right now. So even though he got off to a hot start, these are both good players, and you can't really count either one of them out.
Ooh, and another 14 power at level 7, and Holmes is going to see that and like that as well here. Getting to level 7 just 14 seconds after card.
Yeah, and looks like NESCard thinks that this is a good time to take a peek in the cave. Definitely much stronger than when he attempted his first dive and ran into the blue dragon. And I think this is Mountain Cave.
Based on the movement, I believe that is the case. And is able to get to that first treasure chest, which is the fairy flute. So one of these search spots will be empty, whether it's the overworld, and meaning no coordinates, whether it's in the town of Cole, or whether it's guarded in the town of Hawksness.
Ooh, Mr. Holmes with the clutch run gets away from the blue dragon, and NESCard lands the sleep on the wolf. So.
Oh, but gets hit by the gold man. And card heading back.
Yeah, the strength is terrific, but the HP still a little on the low side, and that's gonna curtail exploration a little bit.
Especially with no way to heal other than the herbs at the moment.
Mr. Holmes is going to go after this knight, and credit to him for recognizing that he's just got enough in the tank strength-wise to take this guy down.
And does so for a nice 78. Meanwhile, we've got a set of wings and an herb. 2 more treasure chests here in the mountain cave. Holmes now heading to the 4th one, and it is a dragon scale. That'll add 2 defense points to the total once it is donned, which it now is.
And now NESCard is going to help himself to some treasure and walk right out and pick some gear up.
And last, we've got the fairy water deep in the mountain cave.
Yeah, so unfortunate that it's a strictly optional cave, but wouldn't be surprised if NESCard takes another run at it, being so close to home base.
Now, Card going with an interesting decision here. Well, first of all, is trying to move past the non-playable characters, and they're essentially creating a blockade. But Card going back into Garenham, collecting the 2 gold chests, leaving the town, resetting the chests, and going back to get them again. Accidentally casting sleep.
Heads up to NESCard, he recognized it was a mimic.
Ah, very well played.
but I'm curious as to when this grind is going to stop for NESCard. He can get some more money, but I wonder what items he has his eyes on. I think there was a full plate in the shop.
He's gonna go for the full plate. So that's a nice additional 20 defense.
Yeah, and I think that'll leave him with enough to pick up the hand axe. And maybe he's going for the broadsword.
Quite possibly. For 1,500 gold, it'll add 20 attack power to the total. Or maybe he'll go with the hand axe and the large shield. Or maybe he'll do one more grind to get up the additional 304 gold to get the broadsword. Holmes, meanwhile, back in that grinding area and now doing a little bit of exploration to the east. Ooh, Card with an excellent move, one of those critical hits on the wolf after putting it to sleep. And Card looks to be making the run through the swamp cave and finds some swamp on the other side as well as a town. And it's the town of Breckenary.
Well, not too exciting, but Card still has quite a lot of money, so he's just going to help himself to a copper sword. Certainly better than just going and punching.
Yeah, it gives an additional 10 attack power. And chat, meanwhile, making astute observations that at this point in Cantlin, nobody had attempted to retrieve the coordinates from the locked door in Cantlin. With the 46 hit points, I would imagine that's certainly possible.
Yeah, and you would have to stock up on quite a lot of herbs, and that could eat up some time, especially when you have other exploration options like this other continent, for instance. Although, yeah, NESCard not gonna make it out of that swamp alive.
A little bit of a swamp passing there, and Holmes, meanwhile, getting to level 8. You can see 3 strength, 2 agility, 10 hit points, and 6 magic points.
So even at level 8, these levels have still been extremely useful, slowing down in the other stats, but any HP gain at this point is pretty big.
And Card running into a metal slime. Just 3 hit points, and, well, it has a lot of agility, but if you're able to take it out, that is 255 experience, and the metal slime kicks out at 2.
Alright, and on MisterHomes' side, he's going to fight the Stone Man, who is currently in front of a town and Charlock.
Now, he is going to sleep and run away so he can make it to said town. And it is the town of Cole. So we will see what one of the search spots are here. And there's nothing in the search spot of Cole.
So there we go. We've got coordinates and we've got Hawk's Nose. Holmes stops in on the shop and picks up some leather armor, so a little bit better offensive-wise than Card, but Card with the full plate definitely can take a hit better.
You can see the difference of almost 20 defense. And Mathgro, yes, both runners do have the fairy flute. And the adversary, to answer your question in chat, yes, both the token and the flute can be in chests, in the treasure chests. Yeah, if you find a cursed belt along the way, then that is what is the variable. So, if the flute was in if the flute was not in a chest, easy for me to say, what would be in that spot would be a cursed belt. Same thing for Erdrick's token. So if you find 2 cursed belts, you know that all 3 spots all 3 search spots are applicable.
It looks like MisterHomes picked up Hurtmore as well, so
yes, at level 8. Yeah, level 8 getting the big Hurtmore spell, and now Card about to get that as well. And Card gonna head back into the mountain cave. Oh, Tyranix, welcome back. Noting that you've been gone for a week. This is one of the 2 semifinals. The other is going to be BTs against the defending champion Game Boy F9. I believe the first of that best of 3 will be tomorrow night here among the Randomania networks. Oh, and Card with a critical hit, a Kaishin no Ichigeki on the Metal Slime, and that's going to get a quick 250 experience, and 255 rather, and here's another Metal Slime. Can we make it 2 in a row?
Yeah, just like that. NESCard is caught up.
He can!
And
Look
takes
at
the
that!
win. Just, do we have some manip going on here? Certainly, exactly what NESCard wanted to have happen, though. Those, that nearly 500-point swing.
Meanwhile, MisterHomes is in Hawksness and trying to get to the Guardian, but the Wizard says no.
Yeah, and that's where not having a healing spell really hurts you, and probably where he wishes he had a full plate, too. But it wasn't too difficult to get there, so he should probably be able to head right back.
Meanwhile, Card, having found the rest of the items in the mountain cave, just an herb, wings, the dragon scale, and fairy water. Trying to get out, but doesn't have outside. So may just walk and grind back. And MisterHomes heading into Cantlin to pick up some fairy water, which works like the repel spell. So any enemies whose strength is the same as or lower than MisterHomes' defense points, when he uses one of those fairy waters, he will not run into an overworld encounter against those enemies.
Yeah, this is a very smart play. Not having repel at the higher levels, that eats a lot of time. So if you have the option to pick up fairy water, always get at least a couple of bottles of it.
Absolutely, and one of the other semi-finalists, Game Boy F9, coming back after walking away for a minute and seeing the 500-point swing in terms of experience. Card, meanwhile, at level 9, and is stacking up on the keys. Meanwhile, the Wizard taking out MisterHomes.
It's the same one from Oxness. He caught up to him.
And Card going to take a look at what the potential coordinates are going to be here. Utilizing the herbs one at a time here, and I think Holmes might possibly follow suit. And we have 59 north and 46 east. And card just going to take the intentional barrier tile death.
Interesting set of coordinates. Should be countable, but we'll see when he gets north of the castle how twisty and turny it gets.
And we've got a trolley NPC on Mr. Holmes' side. Finally opts to move out of the way.
Yeah, card meanwhile, counting out those coordinates, and I don't know, is that maybe on the other continent? Or at least very much out of the way?
I think he's heading in that direction and getting kind of a ballpark figure, and just seeing from there if it is something that is countable without acquiring the princess who can inform of the coordinates.
Yeah, but these monsters that he's running into on the way through, you couldn't ask for a better set.
Yeah, true. You've got werewolves and axe knights, some pretty easily hurt-morable enemies, and just like that, here is level 10 for card. 12 power, 12 speed, 25 hit points, and 1 magic point. And we've got the spell of Heal More.
Wow, this,
Jackpot.
yeah, we're really hitting the gas now. 83, or 93 attack power with just a copper sword, so...
And Mr. Holmes is opting on that more, I guess, less conventional gold grind, we'll call it. And we've got card finding the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight cave, which contains the Stones of Sunlight.
Hey, how's that for a bonus? And, I don't know if he is still counting coordinates or not, but the repel spell showed up at 9, so really he is just off to the races as far as exploration goes.
And Holmes, meanwhile, is acquiring gold.
And
Yep.
there's card finding Cole and Sherlock, and he will pick up his nothing.
And a nice pile of nothing it is.
So note at level 10 though, the agility is still a little bit on the low side, so could be a concern if that that number continues to stay low. So just something to keep an eye on.
And apparently I sounded a little overly game show hostish there, as Game Boy F9 wanting to quote Wheel of Fish from the movie UHF.
I should never have taken the box.
And Holmes upgrading to the Magic Armor, the second best armor in the game.
That's a very, very solid upgrade in the defense department, and it should have a lot more staying power in fights from here on out.
And to answer DW Edit's question in chat, Hawksness was found, but before finding out what the Guardian was and what searchable item was there, well, Mr. Holmes fell to a wizard.
And NESCard has found the grave, digs out the fighter's ring. 4 more chests to go.
A torch and some big bucks round out the top 3. So now looks like deep into the grave we go.
Don't believe we've seen Ramaldar yet, have we?
We have not, as the discovery of keys early has made it a little less essential to find Rimaldar. Although, if one of the essential items is in that one treasure chest that's there, it'll turn out to be very useful.
Yeah, we are definitely running low on treasure chest checks, so that becomes more and more relevant.
Well, at this point, I believe there's just the two remaining in Garen's grave, the Tablet Cave and the Rimaldar chest. So one of them will definitely have the silver harp. As Mr. Holmes continuing to utilize the Garenham gold grind here. And speak of gold, that's what is in the middle chest in the grave. And Holmes gonna go and purchase some more keys. Another great enemy here in a Druin Lord. And Card just a couple experience away from level 11. And that ghost would have done it.
This is legitimately one of the funniest grinds that I've ever seen. If I was the key vendor, I would just do this for myself.
And we've got gold deep in the grave. So the silver harp is going to either be in the Tablet Cave or locked away behind the two doors in the town of Rimaldar.
Yeah, and notable, very likely the sword is going to be in Sharlock.
Well, at this point, there is a 1 in 9 chance that that could be the case. And here comes level 11 for Card. 1 power, 1 speed, 1 hit point, 6 magic points. And that's kind of a make good for level 10. That balances it out. Yes, the 1 in 9 chance, Math Girl, there's 9 treasure chests remaining. The 1 in the Tablet Cave, the 1 in Rimaldar, the 7 in Sharlock, of course the vanilla, and the 6 way down deep into Sharlock Castle. So as Faywin's noting in chat, 1 + 1 + 1 + 6, and we're going to stop there so I don't get into a clue reference.
I mean, fortunately, there's no chandelier to shoot, so...
Yes. No chandeliers at all. Card, meanwhile, using the heal spell, trying to get out of the grave. And running into his friend, the Metal Slime. Let's see if we can go 3 for 3.
Yeah, NESCard has run into quite a few metal slimes. Managed to cash 2 of them in early in spectacular fashion, and Holmes is going to find the Stones of Sunlight. And I think he was doing his usual perimeter trace, but switching to a different body of water, and just caught that out of the corner of his eye. So, good pickup.
Oh, it's sticking it a long 2, and oh, it finally kicks out at a very long 2. But here's another Metal Slime. Let's see if this slap fight fares a little bit better for him. And a third excellent move. A third critical hit. That is 3 metal slimes. 765 experience for Card based off of those critical hit metal slimes.
Just absolutely crushing it. And now with just the sheer amount of attack power he has, he's going after the wizard with just a copper sword.
What a wild, wild seed so far. So Card having emerged from the grave. Meanwhile, Holmes sleeping and working on attacking a stone man here.
He did pick up the flame sword, so his attack power is currently sitting at 99, being able to chip away at that stone man pretty effectively. Except when he swings the 34.
Yeah, the block chipped off of Holmes in this case, and Card, meanwhile, wow, just 26 experience away from level 12, finding another cave, and this, I believe, is going to be the tablet cave. Yes, Card traversing it in the dark. It's kind of a process of elimination thing at this point, so will we find the silver harp here? Will it be Erdrick's token? Will it be the death necklace? So by process of elimination, that means the silver harp is going to be in Rimmildar.
Yeah, and Card is holding onto a torch. Pretty good move. If there are a lot of times where casting Radiant will cost you a heal more in the Sharlock dive, so if you're able to have that torch, makes things a lot easier for you.
And yes, at level 11, strike. Yeah, at level 11, no outside spell as of yet.
Now it's Mr. Holmes' turn in the grave, and he is pretty well kitted out to get some levels on this dive. The cave floors have had a pretty good enemy distribution for leveling, so we'll see how much he can catch up on this dive.
And there's the big level 10 for Holmes.
Question in chat, that means Erdrick's sword and Sharlock. That pretty much guarantees it. And I think NESCard's in the neighborhood of Hawksnest, so...
Yep, there's a couple of steps. There's the town, and there is Hawksnest.
And with little to no resource, actually, yeah, no resources, he's just going to take a peek around, but make a note of where Hawksnest is. Probably doesn't feel confident fighting anything in that spot right now.
And there is the Staff of Rain Cave, which the Silver Harp will be traded in to acquire the Staff of Rain. However, they need to find Rimmildar to get said Silver Harp.
Hey, there's NESCard's buddy, except he's only got 3 HP now.
Oh, and it kicks out at 2 again, with only 2 hit points to spare. And no herbs to speak of.
No MP either, but he does have some fairy water, so he can still do a little bit of exploration. Gets stop spelled. And that's
and
it.
Able to get away.
He can't do anything, though. There's swamp in the way, so nothing in this northern part, and he just has to take the death. Mr. Holmes gets his metal slime, so effectively catching up here. Wonder... No, he's not going to go after this blue dragon.
That's a little overzealous.
And I think Holmes is down to 10 MP, so a little rough in the resources department.
Well, at level 10, only having 57 to start.
Yeah, I think if he's got some herbs, though, it should be pretty easy to get to that last chest. It just depends how many blue dragons he runs into. Oh wow, the Axe Knights have Dragon Lord 2 breath.
Oh boy. Yeah, that breath will do anywhere between 64 and 72 hit points of damage.
Yeah, and that was a max damage shot on Holmes.
The ability to heal certainly a premium as Card meandering through the swamp trying to find, I would imagine, Rimmeldar. Or maybe you're gonna go try to go back to Hawksness to take on that enemy.
Now, there is a lot of swamp and choke points, so Hawksness wouldn't be a bad idea. Certainly would make healing while you walk certainly is going to make exploration a lot better, but he does have to find Rimmeldar anyway, so just cleaning up some of the loose ends on his map, I don't begrudge him for that at all.
And Card has found Rimmeldar.
And this makes for some pretty efficient routing, too, knowing where the Staff of Rain Cave is. As soon as he gets this harp, he can drop it off and then go to Hawksness and pick the armor up.
Well, do we know for sure that it is the armor?
That's true, it could be the token. It's 50-50 between that and the coordinates.
And we have the Stone Man getting MisterHomes to level 11.
And it is the token.
So a good amount of walking and counting is going to get to Erdrick's armor, the best armor in the game.
And NESCard is definitely heading northeast, so wonder if he's made any notes about landmarks along the way.
I think so, as there's... I know there's a lot of references made to the map noting skills of NESCardinality, and yep, there come the NEScartography emotes. On DW8, yes, the Erdrick's token was in Hawksness, guarded by the Stone Man, which Holmes is currently grinding on, and oh, they have heal.
A little bit annoying, but with 112 attack power, not so bad. And Mr. Holmes is just going to do a little bit of a grind here, probably till he runs out of resources.
Well, yeah, with that 112 attack power, you're looking at an attack range of anywhere from 23 to 46 on those stone men. And Wolfman, yes, this is confirmed that Erdrick's sword is in Charlotte Castle, so the guesses have been sprinkling in as to where of these 7 locations it is. The pyramid guessing game that we love to do here is in play, as the 6 chests at the bottom kind of look like the old, X $1,000 pyramid game show bonus round, the winner's circle. And meanwhile, Card entering the winner's circle to get the Staff of Rain.
And he will help himself to the token shortly. It looks like there is quite a bit of area in the Hawksness neighborhood to explore. And unfortunately, MisterHomes is not going to find anything there.
It's a whole lot of roaming for nothing. And there is the token for Card.
And now time to count. If you can see the other side of the shore from where he's at right now, this will certainly help.
Okay, now that I'm caught up after all the guesses here, as scrolling back through chat to take a look at that here, and there was a question from the adversary. The hurt more chances on the Stone Man, if I remember right, they're kind of, I think, a little bit less than 50-50. I think. I will confirm that in a moment here.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just...
7/16. 9/16 chance of a success, 7/16 resistance. So yeah, Smashy and Game Boy confirming my semi-certainty. They are much more susceptible to the sleep spell.
Yeah, it's just much more consistent to put them to sleep and then take a swing. Good count by NESCard, finds the armor first try.
Wow. So that, in terms of exploration, is pretty much all the things that Card needs. He is back in Tangential Castle, going to head into the basement, where there is the Rainbow Drop Cave, also known as the Jerk Cave, because if you don't have all the essential items, most notably Erdrick's token, he'll kick you out of the cave like the jerk that he is.
Yeah, MisterHomes gonna take a death wart back, and of note, the flame armor or flame sword and magic armor combo doing a little bit of work in the level grinding department. He's almost caught up to NESCard, but that exploration advantage is going to be huge.
Yeah, at this point, Card has everything needed to get into Charlotte Castle except for the levels.
And it might be worth taking a peek at the Swamp Cave Guardian to see what you can get that way.
And I believe that is what Card is doing, as in the back of Garanham is the northern end of Swamp Cave. So Home's gonna head on in.
And he's gonna drop 83 on the Fun Police, but this is not a bad grind spot either. But he's gonna go for the GPS.
Yeah, the Red Dragon, known as the Fun Police, because as one of the strongest and quickest enemies in the game, when they show up, the fun tends to stop. So Holmes has rescued the princess and is going to acquire the coordinates now and see how it plays out. And if the coordinates are short, he'll probably take a death warp back and let the princess rot back in the cell. And in this case, might think, this might be a good one to turn her in for. So now Card working on the Red Dragon. And never mind, Mr. Holmes looks to be counting the coordinates out also.
Just gonna take the princess with him. Next level for Card.
Ooh, and not much to speak of with that.
Yeah, modest bump in MP puts him into another heal more range, but that's about it.
Yeah, 1, 6, 0, and 5 are the totals on that. And that's the first level up in almost 20 minutes for Card.
And I believe Cantlin has a broadsword for sale, right?
I believe so. I think I saw that in the hustle and bustle here.
I'd be curious to see if NESCard goes for it, if he decides to come back down here and grind.
Ooh, and those Red Dragons still packing a punch, and Card ending up taking a death here. Thankfully, it's a short walk back.
Gets ambushed by the Demon Knight, but that's a pretty easy fight for him to win.
And Holmes finding the Stones of Sunlight Cave once again.
So Card finds the bamboo pole and the flame sword. Neither one of them useful.
And another bamboo pole and flame sword. So perhaps in that bottom shop, there's the broadsword.
Yeah, and that'll be a nice bump for Card.
So it'll add another 10 attack power, get him into triple digits. Meanwhile, Mr. Holmes getting to level 13. Not that there was much to say for it.
Yeah, that like we mentioned earlier, the desert area, just northeast of the castle, has a really good array of enemies, and with Hurtmore available, no reason to skip out on the experience here.
And chat noting as far as the schedule here, again, this is a best 2 out of 3 match here in the semifinals, and will also be that way for the championship match as well. So this is just game 1. The second game and third, if necessary, will both be Wednesday night here on the Randomania Networks. Game 2 will be at 9 o'clock Eastern, and if necessary, game 3 will be immediately afterward. Meanwhile, the other semifinal, which is going to be Game Boy F9 and BT's, game 1 of that will be tomorrow night at 9 p.m., just a little under 23 hours from now, is Mr. Holmes getting the Silver Harp.
Yeah, and that extra 10 attack power definitely helping out NESCard here. Takes about a 2 Red Dragon lead on Mr. Holmes in the experience department.
And also noting in chat that games 2 and 3, if necessary, on the Game Boy F9 and BT's matchup will be on Thursday night. So 4 straight nights of semifinal action, and that will lead to the championship match sometime next week here among the Randomania Networks. Card continuing to take on and out some red dragons, although with Erdrick's armor trying to walk off and heal up. As Erdrick's armor, for every step that you take, you gain 1 hit point healed back. That's just one of the many benefits of what is arguably the most broken armor in terms of how well it helps you in all of RPG history. Not only do you heal 1 hit point per step. Oh, Mr. Holmes getting the armor as well.
Yeah, good count by Mr. Holmes. NESCard rolling double 16s on this Red Dragon, and just wipes out to him, even with the heal more.
Wow. And that evens the death count at 13 for both, 13 for both runners here in this seed. Mr. Holmes now getting the Staff of Rain. About 13 minutes after Card did.
Now time to pick the rainbow drop up. NESCard is headed up north and maybe considering a Charlock dive at this point. Or just hanging out in this desert, which is pretty nice too.
Not too far away from level 14, and there is the rainbow drop for Mr. Holmes. Here is level 14. Let's see the totals. 3 power, no speed, 4 hit points, 3 magic points. Essentially a dud level.
Yep, and now Card is just gonna head into Charlock and presumably get as many levels as you can on the way down to the sword. And meanwhile, Mr. Holmes is just going to go put the princess back. Now that he has the armor, doesn't need the GPS anymore.
So Holmes is going to just fight on these red dragons. And once he runs out of resources, take the intentional death, I would imagine. Card now in Charlotte Castle, going to make the dive, so we're not too far away from seeing where the Erdrick's sword is going to be, so if you haven't made your guesses, now is the time.
Question in chat, have we seen AK? We have not seen an armor knight all night.
Maybe they took the night off?
I was hoping you'd say that.
Glad I didn't disappoint, Edgeworth. Shoutouts to TGE, master of the punnery. Yes, Game Boy F9. I have met TGE on quite a few occasions. Where do you think you think I'd come up with something like that on my own? And admit to it?
NESCard putting away quite a few enemies, running into werewolves and axe knights, but he is down to about 10 MP. And Mr. Holmes just continues the red dragon grind here, so both players firmly committing to their strategies. We'll see which one wins out.
And Card not going to make it down, but with the town right there by Charlotte Castle, this kind of walk and grind down to fish for the sword seems to be a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, he's picking up pretty good information too. The agility may not be you know what you would hope for in a Charlotte dive, but the monster distribution has not been particularly nasty, and if that continues on the lower floors, that may not be as relevant.
Yeah, the statistics you see there on the bottom of the screen, primarily in orange with the exception of the hit points being in white. So the hit points, not where you want them to be. All the other statistics are not ideal, but potentially passable. I mean, you'd like to see a little bit more green in there to have something that's a bit more definitive. And level 15, pending an empty eye strength gain, will certainly get you there. If there's 5 agility, that'll get you, I believe, into the green category for agility. Hit points, you'll have to get to 97, so you're looking at least another 8 to get to orange. And maybe another dozen MP to get into the green to get to 96.
Holmes one-shots a red dragon, so that There's some payback for that Metal Slime. Excellent move.
Every little bit helps, and don't forget, folks, to check out the Discord for Dragon Warrior Randomizer. There are races, especially this time of year, going on all the time, and it's a great community of folks, and certainly a lot of fun. Never know what kind of insanity is going to be here, but we've got level 15, 0, 5, 11, 3, and a new spell.
Here we go again. And MisterHomes has pulled within 1,000 experience now.
Yeah, also some fine peeps, if BT would like to rather be classified as that. Certainly a lot of entertainment value in chat from both of our other semi-finalists who will go head-to-head in a little less than 23 hours from now here among the Randomania Networks, Game Boy F9 and BTs. That'll be their first race in the best of 3 tomorrow night.
Alright, MisterHomes with replenished MP, gonna go after the Red Dragon again.
And Sparkover making the rather noted observation that I'm surprised I didn't pick up on. Next week, the finals in one way or another will be Canada versus USA. As both MisterHomes and NESCardinality hailing from north of the border, and BTs and Game Boy F9 from the United States.
Let's see, NESCard making it a little deeper. He is down to 24 MP, and just gonna chip away at this Stone Man here. Not really worth the effort swinging the broadsword. And that might be the first sighting of the Star Wyvern. He's got heal more. Oh, good.
Oh, no. And Card nopes right on out of that. Here comes level 15 for Holmes.
And Card has made it to the treasury, so get those picks ready.
So, bottom right is a torch. Bottom middle is Erdrick's sword. We've also got the magic key, and Card nopes on out of there.
So at this point, yeah, he's just going to throw the outside spell. I was curious to see if he was just going to take a peek at the Guardian monster, but with a bunch of stone men running around the basement, doesn't seem like he's too interested.
Huh, and from everything that I had noted down, I don't think anybody had guessed 100. People had guessed everything else. A couple of guesses for bottom left, a couple for bottom right, one for middle left, 3 for middle right, 3 for top, and 4 guesses for vanilla.
Those 4 people are very cruel.
One of those would be our tracker this evening, Math Girl 718. I'll give her some props, as well as Lord of the Synth, taking care of the restreaming to help bring this to you here on Randomania tonight.
Yeah, appreciate the help from both of them. Lord of the Synth has been pretty great in restreaming for both this community and FFR.
So Card is heading over to Hawksness and looks to be giving the Stone Man another go.
And the Stone Man is already throwing heals out, so if he's not swinging that much, this might not be too bad.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the experience differential, at least for the immediate moment, about 50. Although Card's going to pull ahead here as Holmes having to utilize the inn at Garenham. So this is still extremely close. The main difference, Card having found the sword, Holmes having not gone into Sharlock as of yet.
Yeah, and Card with a modest lead, but out of resources now, is going to have to take that Death Ward back, and remains to be seen where he's going to pick up the rest of this experience. If he fights his way down, or you know, tries a grind in either out in the desert or these red dragons.
Yeah, the nice HP gain at level 15 has certainly... Oh, it's gotten everything into the orange and or green, but still a little work to do.
Yeah, the monsters on the way down, with the exception of the Stone Men, have been pretty kind, I would say.
Yeah, this is, well, this is as close as you would expect it to be.
Yeah, lead going back and forth quite a bit during the course of the whole match. Not really a surprise to anyone, though.
And Bayou Billy fan in chat going out on a limb predicting that Capital Z will win, as that is the character name that both runners are going with here. Yeah, it's a bold prediction, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, definitely betting heavily on Canada here.
So Card now hitting 9750, and let's see what level 16 brings. 4 power, 15 speed, 2 hit points, and 4 magic points. And right behind him is Holmes.
Yeah.
Just 7 seconds behind Card, both for getting level 16.
And it looks like Card is pretty satisfied with that and is gonna go, but Holmes is gonna take some more experience.
I'm thinking perhaps Holmes going to use his resources, take the death, though maybe not. He still has that princess in tow. Because even if he carries the princess all the way down, defeats the Dragon Lord, and takes her to the castle, there will be that added 8 seconds of Gwaelin dialogue that Card does not have for not having rescued the princess.
Card with really rough luck versus this blue dragon and this werewolf, and is just going to take the death in the lobby. So it is a bit of a time loss, but not huge.
Holmes, meanwhile, has not yet been into Charlotte Castle, still has to acquire Erdrick's sword.
Card trying to run away from this Axe Knight and just takes 2 flame breaths to the face, so
oh wow,
he's gonna have to stop in Cole on the way back, or the way back to Charlotte. And I think somebody tied his shoelaces together or something, jeez.
A chat noting here, is it possible that Mr. Holmes is utilizing the Garanham grind to get up to the 14,800 gold needed to acquire the Silver Shield to get an additional 10 defense points? Which, if that's the case, that will make the trek through Charlock a lot more bearable, as with 95 defense power, the only enemies that are gonna really punch you pretty hard would be the Blue Dragon, the Stone Man, the Armored Knight, the Golem, and the Red Dragon. That's 5 out of the 10 enemies that you can see in Charlotte Castle. And yes, thank you, chat, for the reference to bearable and the numerous bear emotes.
Mr. Holmes continuing his counterfeiting operation in a different location. I guess the police raided Tantasia.
All that was left behind was remnants of herbs, as well as the stray key and a torch. And now Holmes back in the Swamp Cave.
Yeah, he gets a fair amount of money for taking out these red dragons, so maybe just picked up just enough gold where when he makes it to the next level, he'll be able to buy the shield.
So that might be Holmes' strategy. He figures grind up to get the remaining gold to get to level, to get the silver shield, as well as grinding up experience-wise to get to level 17, and the combination of the two should be ball game. However, as he's working on that, Card is quickly making his way down to the last basement in Charlock.
Ooh, and the Star Wyverns have level 2 breath as well.
Yeah, thankfully with Erdrick's sword, it cuts the fire breath damage by 1/3, so only 42 to 48 hit points of damage. I say only, but a max roll of that is almost half of their hit points.
Yeah, the wizard's definitely a nice sight to see, and even the Star Wyverns, the flame breath is nasty, but they're fairly easy to run away from. Not this time, though. Mr. Holmes just needs 1,900 gold to, maybe a little more than that to pick up the silver shield.
Yeah, 2661 by my count. So card approaching the mini boss on the spike tile here just before the Dragon Lord. Looking to heal up. And it is the Stone Man.
So definitely a nice enemy to see. And Card has exactly 88 MP in the tank, so no wasted
11
wars.
11 heal mores. Unos noting in chat that Card well over 50% to take it here, but certainly a lot of different factors that can change that. I wish I could tell you all the calculations on that. And Card going with the side chat swag strat. That's a tongue twister.
Ooh, ambush hurt more. But it's only DL1, so he can at least do something about that. DL1 going pretty hard, though, and there's a stop spell.
The Card probably gonna have to use his last herb, and there's yet another hurt more. So gonna have to smack at the Dragon Lord, and it's gonna start with 78, so that reduces the likelihood of a double attack to start, and he gets ambushed! He's gonna have to heal more right from the start.
And that is unfortunate luck, and Card's pretty much hoping for a low HP Dragon Lord now.
Well, we're at 13. Now, the Dragon Lord can have anywhere between 150 and 165 hit points. We're at 23 thus far. With 8 heal mores to go, here's another attack for 11. We're at 34. And a max Dragon Lord breath on Card.
Yeah, can't really afford any low rolls. 16's pretty nice.
Puts him up to 50. Now with the 135 attack, you're looking at a damage range of 8 to 17.
Oh god, get some.
Oh, and there's a 9. Oh, but there's a max 17. So that puts up to 76, but now just down to 4 heal mores. Oh, and another max 17.
Well, it certainly makes up for things.
He's at 93 with 3 heal mores to go. And there's a 10 to kind of even things out at 103. Chat looking for the YOLO hurt more strat. Here's 11 for 114. And there's another max 17, 131.
Yeah, and Card's just gonna go for the double attack here.
And hope that it's enough. There's 14, so we're at 145. Last attack for 9, and it's not enough at 154.
Wow, so unfortunate with that ambush. Very likely that he closes the fight out with 1 extra heal more. So chances are he's gonna go right back down.
And MisterHomes, meanwhile, picking up that silver shield. And picking up level 17.
4 power, 9 hit points, 24 magic points. That's...
Oh, wow.
So, if NESCard doesn't get in here pretty quick, this is going to be Holmes' game to lose.
But he has little time to waste at this point. Card heading on over, taking the long path through coal to get to the item shop to restock the herbs.
Yeah, and I think he had a key, so little bit of inefficiency, but this is going to be real close and may just come down to encounter luck.
Well, remember also, Holmes still has to, well, I don't know if that has to, but is ideally will have to go get the Erdrick sword out of the treasury.
Also has to use the rainbow drop, so oh wow, they are step for step.
Look at this. Now it's going to come down to encounter luck and Mr. Holmes diverting to get the sword. But you can see Holmes with the extra level and the extra defense with the silver shield. So a slight advantage in most of the statistics, the hit points, the huge difference in the magic points that will allow for extra heal mores that he might be able to burn on the way down.
Chat also noticing that having the princess is going to cost some time too.
And I will defer to Game Boy F9 on this, as we have not had to utilize it as of yet, but he noticed that if the racers finish 5 seconds apart or shorter, both runs will be retimed, and if the ultimate difference is 1 second or less, then an overtime procedure will occur.
And NESCard already used his one torch, has used 2 of his MP for the repel to get to Cole. So he's going through all of this in the dark.
Yeah, we'll worry more about the potential overtime procedure if it takes place. But yes, chat joking whether it will be some form of game show, which I would be glad to host that, whether it be Wheel of Fortune or Press Your Luck.
Card has made it to the bottom.
Yeah, Card is at the bottom, is a couple of floors ahead, and Holmes still has to make the diversion over to the treasury to get the sword. Card having a little trouble getting away from the wizard.
See which order he checks the chests in.
Oh, there's the sword, and not even bothering to check the rest. And Card did replenish to the herbs in Cole, taking the long way through. So Holmes will have a little bit of an attack advantage in that 139. You'll see a range of anywhere from 9 to 19. But Card already is on Dragon Lord 1.
Yeah, does not get ambushed this time. Walks up to 97 without losing any more herbs. So, time to just have a snack in front of the Dragon Lord.
And Game Boy astutely noting that if Card does not win this fight here, that Mr. Holmes with the added defense and added level will more than likely take it here. Holmes healing up and is going to speak to the Dragon Lord. Meanwhile, Dragon Lord 2 and another ambush on Card. He's attacking on 45. Gets hit for 44.
Yeah, he had to do something pretty brave. See if this pays off.
Now Holmes on the Dragon Lord as well. Now Holmes with the slight advantage in strength, but Card has a couple of attacks already ahead. This is almost synchronized here at this point. Card with the lead, but now it's down to those rolls and attacks, and Card getting another another bottom roll of 9.
Another 9, but Holmes gets an 18.
Yeah, trying to keep track of both at the same time, and it's not happening. Card with the advantage on that attack, 16 to 12.
The sync is insane. Wow.
This just gives you an idea right here of the caliber of both of our runners. Both heel mooring at pretty much the exact same spot here.
Yeah, Holmes guaranteed to close this out.
The question is, can Card do it? Every input making a difference here.
Big 17 at the end, and he's just going to go in swinging. No hurt nor strats for this time.
Last attack for Card, and he does it! That couple of attack differential going to be the difference here. And NESCardinality is going to take the first game in this best-of-3 match. Get out your GGs in chat. The official SRL time is going to be 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 3 seconds.
Yeah, and no surprise from these two runners. What a great match.
Holmes right behind is going to have the chat here, and, well, that Princess did come into play here, as that's going to be an additional 8 seconds added on, but Holmes going to finish just behind with the official time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 22 seconds. Just a 19-second differential between these two runners. Holy smokes, what a race.
GG to NESCard, GG to Mr. Holmes. We'll try to get them in for an interview right now.
And don't forget, just a little over 46 hours from now, match 2 and 3 of this best of 3, well, 3 if necessary, I should say. If Card able to close it out at 9 o'clock Wednesday evening, Card will take the sweep and go to the finals. Otherwise, if Holmes takes it immediately after that second race, there will be the third race that will be the rubber match. That was dizzying. I needed a second to recover from that.
Yeah, this was.
And I think so too do our runners.
The definition of an instant classic right here. Wow, what a race!
You knew it was going to be close. You knew it was going to be tight. You didn't know it was going to be this close and tight. Or I think it was, yeah, as close and tight as beyond almost anyone's expectations, I would imagine. And we have both of our runners here in chat who have taken our breath away here. Card, congratulations and GG on game 1 of the best of 3 here. And Holmes, just 19 seconds behind. I mean, this obviously could have gone either way.
GG, Mr. Holmes. Thank you so much.
Yes, very good game.
We're getting word here from Game Boy F9 that this is officially the 5th closest race in tournament history for Dragon Warrior Randomizer.
Doesn't
Cool.
surprise me. I guess I'm not glad that I died to the Dragon Lord, but I am glad that the race was super close and the Dragon Lord fight was, pretty. Obviously, I got really bad luck, a lot of below average rolls and back attacks and no herbs and stuff. Really bad luck there for the first death, but that is just part and parcel of the RNG. Wasn't like I was 80 or 90% to win. It was kind of close.
Yeah, I actually got an extra level, so I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, the differential, not only did Holmes get an extra level and go to 17, but also grinded up in combination of the Garenham repeated key strat, as well as fighting numerous red dragons in the swamp cave to actually grind up to get the silver shield.
To get the silver shield, wow. I never considered the silver shield when I was doing everything else. That's actually really interesting. Wow, I never thought of. Wow, that's really smart. The like 1,000+ gold on the way to the red dragons. That's really smart.
Actually, I did 2 of those grinds. One, I kept getting stopped by wizards over and over and over again. And I just said, screw this. And I spent a solid 5 minutes doing that to buy a flame sword and magic armor.
Okay, yeah, I was just lucky. The last shop in Cantlin had a broadsword because, again, I never even considered getting a flame sword and a Hurtmore seed. And this is one of those things where, there were very few Hurtmoreable enemies, so having a good sword was really strong. So that was really smart on your part.
Yeah, what ended up doing me in is I really should have checked the coordinates earlier because they weren't that hard to find. And had I done that, I wouldn't have wasted my time going for the magic armor.
It was pretty wide open. I made one little mistake in that regard. I went to Hawksness in the Shrine Cave to get the token and the staff before I counted out the coordinates, and that didn't make sense because I needed an extra return. But yeah, other than that, finding the coordinates was pretty easy. It was very wide open, and I knew it would be pretty much straightforward.
I'm just soaking this in, having you both go back and forth with the discussion here. I don't even know where to chime in with everything here. I mean, you pretty much have the analysis of everything yourselves here. I mean, Card, as you had mentioned, spending a good portion of the race with a copper sword.
Well, if you want to hear more, there's a ton to talk about, so no problem there. I had a heck of a lot of hard decisions to make at the end. First of all, I lucked out, as I said, getting a broadsword in the very last shop in Cantlin, and then I started fighting red dragons, and the amount of time it was taking, the amount of heal mores, I was worried that it was too inefficient. So with Hurtmore, I made a decision that I didn't like. I went into Sharlock and I went to scout out some things with Hurtmore. And I didn't really have the intention of getting the sword, but I figured if I would make it down, then I would get it. And, I found a lot of werewolves. It was like 80% werewolves on the first floor. But, it's 3 werewolves for a red dragon, and I was not happy with it. And after I got a level up, I grudgingly stuck with it. And there were so many factors behind that decision. I felt that Hawksness was too far away from Cole to be viable, even though I ended up going there once I had the sword, which was another really, really close decision. I kind of underestimated the distance. There was just so many decisions going on, but the whole time I'm thinking MisterHomes is probably grinding the red dragons, and if if the next level is good enough, I might fall behind because of that. Who knows? But the decision to go to Sharlock itself, I was happy with that one because I really felt the red dragons were taking longer than the potential of Hurtmore against the plethora of enemies that could be in Sharlock. So that I was happy about. I was just very worried that red dragons would be better later, and I had low keys. I was worried about going back and forth getting keys in Cantlin and everything. So yeah, really high value red dragons, really tough decision. But if I had thought of what MisterHomes thought of, which I think is genius, I definitely would have stayed there and gotten a silver shield as part of the grind.
Well, We have a, question in chat here, really for both of you. I guess what was the thought process as far as having early keys, early access to Cantlin, but delaying in looking for the coordinates?
Oh, it seemed kind of awkward for me because we didn't have any healing or anything like that, and we had like 30 HP or something like that. So it was like you'd have to take one step, then an herb, one step, then an herb, something like that. But I really
That's a
should
really
have done
good
it.
point.
So it's a good point. Like I should have at least checked, right? It's right there.
My case was entirely different. I know it's really hard to remember that everyone did in a two-person race when you're watching two people, but I did not look over there and find those two towns until at least 12 minutes in, maybe it felt like more.
Same
Um,
here.
oh, okay. Okay, so that was relatively equal, but yeah, like our HP was. I'm trying to think. I guess our money wasn't really low, but when I went to Cantlin, um, it wasn't really a consideration. I just don't remember if I had hurt more yet or not. But in a hurt more seed, the importance of armor goes down a little. And I think the big thing was I entered Garinham first and found that money. And as soon as I saw there was money in two chests, I'm like, I'm getting full plate armor right now. And that's probably the reason that once I went to Cantlin, I was like, we don't need the coordinates right now. I'm going to wait until I can heal.
Oh yeah, chat with a litany of curiosities here. A question to Card regarding the thought process in the Dragon Lord fight of attacking at 45 hit points very early on after the back attack to start off.
So first of all, you saw it came down to the last attack. This was a situation where there was basically a 0% chance of getting double attacks. I did get hit for 26 once or twice, but the odds of that happening twice in a row for a double attack are virtually nil. So we had already seen my death to the Dragon Lord, where I didn't have full HP and got back attacked. And then I entered the second fight. I didn't have full HP and got back attacked. This was my only chance to regain an attack. And so I took it. And it looks scary, but in reality, my odds were very close to 75% of surviving that decision. So it was worth the value. And that's the reason that I was able to beat the Dragon Lord. Otherwise, I would have been short. So yeah, feel free to ask. If you guys want to ask more questions, absolutely. I'm sure MisterHomes is eager to answer questions as well.
Zarnak's actually chiming in with one. He puts it for Dr. Holmes. Said, do you think you would have done anything differently if you didn't have Gwalen in arms?
No, I'm just really excited that I beat the game with Gwalen. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, Holmes had taken care of the red dragon in the cave, picked up Gwalen, then went to get the coordinates and just never got rid of her, never dropped her off in Tanagel Castle, and never took a death after that point to have her reset back in there. So the rest of the game, for probably the better part of at least a half hour, just was fighting enemies and carrying Gwalen in arms.
That's pretty solid. I did that in my last race actually last night, and it's a great feeling. When you're able to bust through that swamp cave tile, it can be advantageous to have the option of dropping the princess off. Um, so yeah, obviously this time the coordinates were wide open and not on the swamp, the other continent. But it's always great to have that option.
Although
Yeah,
the concern was that it may have played a factor, given how close that it was, that having her there. I mean, that I think was it 8 seconds of extra text and dialogue. I mean, considering how close it was, that could have tipped things one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean we can play those games with
Oh
with a
yeah.
lot of little things that happen, obviously.
Yeah, when
But
there's
yeah,
a 19-second differential out of almost 100 minutes, yeah, there are a lot of if this then that type scenarios.
I mean, I killed a couple metal slimes, and then on the flip side, at least twice I had a metal slime I hit it twice, and then I missed 4 times in a row, and then on the fifth time it ran away, that kind of thing. A lot of big delays and a lot of games to compensate for them, all over the place. That's just randomizer.
Yeah, we I know we were losing it with the back-to-back excellent moves on Metal Slimes on Card's part.
You should have heard me.
Uh, that might be something I have to go back at. Well, I was gonna say if the mic was muted, yeah, that wouldn't have gone through. But I can only imagine.
I think I was just laughing. Like it was so funny that it happened. I sort of couldn't believe it. But again, right before that happened, I had one down to its last HP, and it took a long time before it ran away. So I really felt like, well, I deserved the first one at least. The second one, 2 in a row, was just hilarious.
Yeah, the rest of the seed, we were joking that the Metal Slimes were becoming your best friends. They just kept cozying up to you.
Yeah,
Clearly-
they were everywhere, and I was very happy to see them in Garen's grave. Although again, I don't remember if I actually killed one or not. They just kept encountering me. It's kind of the danger of having them in a cave like that. But yeah,
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
it makes sense that they'd be your friend. They've probably subscribed to your channel for 6 months. Hashtag slime wall.
Ah, yes.
But yeah, I explored everything. I found Remolder last, so I knew the harp was there. I even went in the tablet cave. I almost didn't go in the tablet cave because I thought I had already found it, and I thought that was the shrine cave. And I'm like, okay, I'll just come back to it when I get the harp. And then I was like, oh yeah, I have one cave left. So thankfully, I entered. Although I think it was just the death necklace.
Mm-hmm.
I never stepped foot on the second continent in this one.
Really? That's surprising, given that the swamp cave was right there. But I was telling people just last night, it seems very common that on these seeds where the swamp island is very small, it's just Brecconary over there. I see it all the time, and that happened again tonight, just Brecconary.
Yeah, I don't think I ever found the tablet cave either, or checked the basement, the last chest in Garen's grave, just based on circumstance. So I was kind of playing the percentages. I was perfectly willing to fight at the next level, like the level I was at with the flame sword. It would have been close, but it should have been good.
Again, another good percentage play on your part. The tablet cave was in the very northeast, as was the grave. Like they were kind of close to each other. And we started in the south near the west, literally like the bottom of the map. So that was a heck of a distance to cover for just one chest or two chests. And it paid off. The sword was in Sharlock. That worked out. But yeah, I happened to comb every chest, and I always felt like a little worried when I was going through these long caves with no enemies. That's the trade-off. Certainty in exchange for a little delay in experience gain.
Yeah, to close things off, because I have some Thanksgiving dinner waiting for me. I don't think I played the early game particularly well. I wish I had made the decision to grind those gold chests a lot earlier than I did. But at the end of the day, I did the rest of the race reasonably well, and I mean, it's the small things that decided at this level. So that's about all I have to say with because of that.
And I just want to say, more than anything, I hoped for a close race. I never imagined it was going to be this close. Despite any circumstances, whether it was early game difficulty or a death in Sharlock, an extra level, or whatever, I'm just glad that it was this close because we deserve it. We deserve to be this close because that's how it is every night for us. When Mr. Holmes and I play, it's really like you have to be on top of your game to play close to your opponent. That's just how it is, and I'm really looking forward to what happens on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, yeah. Well, go ahead, Mr. Holmes.
It was interesting. I wasn't even nervous during the Dragon Lord fight. My controller actually started glitching out a little bit. I had a button press that didn't even register, so I was taking that fight really slowly. Don't think that made a 13-second difference. But after the fight, I wasn't even that crazy. Like, oh, got to get to the princess, or got to get back to the castle. I walked into Tantagel, saw Ness finish. I'm like, oh, yeah, sounds about right. I was mainly thinking, oh man, he's gonna love it when I finish so close to him.
I didn't even notice. I typed GG and I stood up and I started talking to Spark over, and I looked over, and all I saw was GG interview, and I was like, yeah, I'll go load up Discord. I didn't even see like your finish was like blended in with mine. I didn't even notice. Then I did a double take when I saw it. I was like, what? And then I was like, of course we finished so close.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I hope to
Yeah.
be on the other side on Wednesday. So
Yeah, this makes this makes for a heck of a race number 2. That'll be Wednesday, just 46 hours from now, 9 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Game 2, and if necessary, Game 3 immediately afterward.
righto.
Yeah, that's correct.
So thanks again, everybody. I am absolutely starving, so I'm gonna head off. Good game
Happy
to
Thanksgiving.
all.
Enjoy your dinner, and GG.
You too, pal. See ya.
Bye.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving for those north of the border, and happy. Yeah, we've got a holiday down here too, with the indigenous something or another. I think they're calling it now. But that notwithstanding, yes, we are just 22 hours away from the other semifinal starting up, BTs and Game Boy F9. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Yeah, just 9 o'clock seems to be the time all the course of this week here. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, we will have the semifinals figured out, and we will see who will make it to the championship round here in the 2018 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament. Edgeworth, any? Yeah, I thought both of
Sorry,
you
I
had
was just
dipped
gonna
out
say
there. That's all right.
it's going to be a pretty epic 4 days, folks. I'm looking forward to. I believe I'm commentating tomorrow, and I can't wait for that. Super looking forward to it.
They're all going to be fantastic. It's can it be tomorrow night already? I'm like ready to go again here. Edge, anything? I feel like I've just drowned you out here. Anything to add to all this here?
No, just soaking it all in. This is an amazing match, amazing post-game interview too, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the series and BTs versus Game Boy too.
Yeah, wow. This is BT saying that you're edged out, and they were getting on us for puns earlier. Go figure. All right. Well, I think we all need a breather here. Want to thank Lord of the Synth for taking care of the restreaming here. Math Girl 718 for taking care of the tracking. You can follow my partner Edgeworth here at Edge Stream here on Twitch, as well as myself here for Ron Burgundy. And make sure to give these two runners a follow if you haven't already. They are both just fantastic, amazing people. MisterHomes and NESCardinality giving you a great race here tonight, and expect nothing less coming up on Wednesday. Wow. Well, for everybody involved here, until tomorrow night, where we have the other semifinal match coming here among the Randomania networks, I'm Ferran Burgundy saying, may your moves be excellent and your seeds stay classy. We're now going to send a host over to, or should I say a raid over to the RPG Valkyries. Thank you for tuning in here on Randomania. Good night, everyone.
Have a good night.